Welcome. Double Trouble Entertainment, episode 8. Benji, my twin Moshe. Sorry, today we're going to talk about again, do we as parents know what's best for our teenage kids? And I brought here this time a real doctor, not a social worker, not a therapist, not a life coach, a real clinical psychologist, doctor, and his name is Dr. Rabbi Saul Haimoff. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you for being here.
Say who he is to us.
So, Saul is our first cousin.
Our fathers are brothers.
Oh, go ahead, Moshe. Go.
No, our fathers are brothers. They're like twins. They're a year apart. They're really close. That's it. And he's the only one who went the route of education.
We went to yeshiva. He went to Hafter. He's a Rabbi Dr. And
We're the bums.
You guys are legends. Growing up, we all knew you guys. You're going to be super successful. So this is an amazing thing that you guys got going on. Thank you so much for bringing me on, and you're bringing education to the world, to the community. People need to talk about these things.
Introduce yourself, Saul. Say what are you doing?
Yeah, so I'm a clinical psychologist, a real doctor, as Benji said, although a feelings doctor. And I have a private practice based out of Atlantic Beach, right near the 5 towns. I specialize in treating children, teenagers, and young adults with anxiety and behavioral disorders. I also I work for a shul, the Jewish Center of Atlantic Beach. I'm the assistant rabbi and the program director. And I'm also the co-author of the Handbook of Torah and Mental Health, which is it's a book I worked very hard on. It's a collection of over 50 sources from the Bible, from Chazal, Torah, Rishonim, Achronim, everything about psychology, about anxiety, depression, and it's a big passion of mine to work in the Jewish community and to break the stigma of mental health. That we have a lot of Jewish kids, unfortunately, who are suffering with all these issues, and no one wants to admit it or do anything about it. So that's my mission in life.
Question for you: how does a child start getting anxiety? Like, where does it come from? Is it from the way he was raised? Is it from fear? Is it from stuff that happened at home?
It's a combination, like lots of things in life. Some of it's genetic. Usually the kids I work with, when I start to meet with them and their parents, and I start to diagnose these issues, one of the parents always starts laughing. That's so me. That's exactly me. I had anxiety. I had ADHD. I had all these problems. So usually, if you have a family member with anxiety, everything's genetic. The way you look, how tall you are. So a big part of it is just your DNA. And then, growing up, experiencing bad things happening, right? Anxiety is a warning of danger. We're always thinking of the worst case scenario, and sometimes that's good. Anxiety keeps us safe, but sometimes it's too much. And when a kid is too afraid, and sometimes their parents even reinforce it because the parents are also scared, and they're always saying, you have to be careful, do all this stuff. There's bad guys out there. That makes the kid anxious too. So that's the environment.
Another question I have for you: what's the most common form of anxiety you deal with teenagers? Like, listen, when we were growing up, it was taboo.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
We had
No one knew the word
What do you
anxiety.
mean? If we went to therapy, I was like, you're never going to get
No
back.
one went to therapy. Yeah.
Look at you.
We all have our fears
Yeah.
as children. I still have my fears today. I'm scared of the water. I'm scared of heights. I'm scared to fly on planes. And even though I fly on planes for a living, I still have a lot of anxiety. As I got older, I learned how to cope by myself, but I still have it.
Yeah.
I'm saying, how do we...
Well, there's all different forms of anxiety. We have different categories. There's generalized anxiety, which is like the big umbrella, which is you're just an anxious person. You're nervous, tightly wound, worried. A lot of Jewish moms are like that. They're kind of always nervous, always thinking about bad things, and just super on edge all the time. And then there's subcategories. So a very common one in younger kids is what we call separation anxiety.
Right.
So they're scared when their caregiver, their parents, is not with them. Mom and daddy go out for a date night. A lot of parents call me to complain, we can't go out, we can't go to the restaurant.
The kid blows up the phone.
Calling up at FaceTime every second.
Where's that coming from?
They're scared. They're scared.
If the parent never left the child, right?
Yeah.
So how's the child getting that from? From what he's watching?
Yeah, sometimes they're
Things
afraid.
he's hearing in school?
Yeah, kids are always thinking, I always ask them, when you go to bed at night, they hear a tree tapping against their window, they think there's a bad guy breaking in. a lot of kids are scared of bad guys. They go around, they lock the doors of the house, they check many times. They hear stories. They hear stories of a break-in. October 7th really messed everybody up. Kids are scared of being kidnapped. All these bad things that they think about in their imagination. So when their mom and dad are not home, they don't feel safe. They feel like they're vulnerable.
That makes sense, bro.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Their guardians are not home. Right away they assume. What do you mean, bro? You used to cry for mom till 8th grade.
I know.
On the window. I remember.
I
My brother used to
remember
cry. I was like, dude, what are you crying?
I know, and then 9th grade came around. I never wanted to be home again.
Right.
You understand? But I'm just saying that. But
no, it's more for younger kids.
because
They're little.
I look like, for instance, right? I mean, you see it today. I mean, when we grew up as teens, we feared, respected our elders, our parents, or whatever it is, and even the fears and anxiety we had, we never really shared it with
We have
anybody.
anxiety from getting punished from God as we grew up in
Yeah,
our
of
religion.
course.
Right.
Right? It's all anxiety. Right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, if I do this, God is going to punish me. And you start getting anxious because of it, right?
Yeah. Well, they say, just to throw in a little, I got to throw in a little Torah once in a while, that a famous psychologist once went to Rabbi Saul Haimoff, who, in my world, the YU world, the Rav was like the biggest. And he said, all this fear of God is not healthy. There's too much anxiety. People should not be raised being afraid. And Rabbi Saul Haimoff said, if you have fear of God, you don't have fear of anything else. All of your other anxiety goes away because you really believe that God runs the world, then you're not afraid of anything. So, so I thought that was a nice spin on that. Yeah. But yeah, so kids have a wild imagination. They see, horror movies. I get calls sometimes. My kid, his older cousins, whatever, they watch some scary movie, and now he has nightmares. He can't sleep. I don't know what to do. Right? The world's a scary place. We hear the parents talk about things. They talk about all these bad things are happening, and kids are listening, and they don't know that it's far away in another country or something like that. They think it can happen to them.
Correct.
Wow.
Okay, so you see, it's so mind-boggling that we don't even know as adults that we're just having small talk.
Yeah.
And the kid can be upstairs.
The Shabbos table.
And the kid can be upstairs and, let's say you have a splanch or whatever, right? The kid's up those 4 little stairs playing over there. And next thing you know...
Oh, they're listening.
Yeah, he's petrified out of something. Oh, okay, so then what...
How do you deal with it as parents? Right, today parents yell at the kid, threaten the child. Like me sometimes, unfortunately, I'm going to say when my son was younger, I would tell him, you got to be a man. What's wrong with you? As I got older, I understood that's the wrong approach.
Yeah.
To tell him to man up.
Nothing
then
you could
shuts
say.
His feelings.
Yeah, there's no magic thing you could say.
Talk to him.
Right. Well, first you want to really get into the fears. Parents, they also want to poo-poo it. They want to say, "Oh, don't be a baby," or "Don't worry about it."
Right.
But I asked kids just yesterday. I had a session with a boy. He said, "I'm scared of being kidnapped. It's my biggest fear. There's a car pulled up into my house. I thought it was a delivery guy. I thought, and he went and he got really nervous. He had an anxiety attack. So I said, what would happen if you got kidnapped? I asked him that. And he's like, we're thinking about things. Anxiety is an imagination thing. And it's very clear. We have a picture in our head. We can imagine. We can think about, all the things we would do. And in therapy, we create a safe space with a relationship. And I go to those people, to those fears. I ask people, we talk about their biggest fears.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what did he tell you?
So it's a talking to. So, how he'd be tortured and chained up and how he would try to fight and escape and all those things. And just talking about it already just makes you feel better. It's an amazing thing. It's called the talking cure. We don't know exactly how it works, but talking about your problems just sometimes just makes it. When you say it out loud, sometimes you realize how ridiculous it is sometimes. Right?
We need help in our community because we come from an old school mentality.
Yeah.
Right? We're immigrants in this country. I mean, not us, but I'm saying we were lucky enough to be born here and our parents were born in Israel and whatever, so we're different. But they're more of the tough. Like today, you see kids 2 generations under us, teenagers. They're lost. They're lost. They have anxieties. They do stupid shit on the streets, and I think it all comes from maybe because we don't, as parents, know how to handle that.
It's hard. There's no manual. There's no book on how to be a good parent. Some people have it, naturally, or they had good parents and good role models. And a lot of people are learning, parenting classes. I do a lot of parenting work in therapy because the parents themselves are often a big part of the problem. They are, either they have their own problems or they project, like they put a lot of their own issues on their kids.
That's a big
big issue.
Yeah, that parents want to live also their childhood. Yeah. They couldn't get it as they were kids, so they want their child to go to have that experience that they couldn't get.
Yeah, right, and that's that's not healthy, right? The parents, you have to separate what's my issue and what does my kid need. It's not always the same. You know,
Yes, that's a big. That's a big.
So
point
how's a
there.
parent know? Like, okay, Yankee comes to UK with some guy, okay, with his kid. How Haredi does that sound?
It's pretty typical, you know. Vibe. It's a good.
You don't want to say me, chas v'shalom, da da da. Okay. So you're sitting there on the first time you see this child and parent, you're like, okay, I see the parent can be the issue here.
Oh, totally. I could tell right away. Even from the first phone call, when people leave you a message, I could tell. You know,
no way.
Yeah, just the way they talk, how many times they call me. You know, what phrases they use. Right away I have a sense. I could tell. Okay, this one's like a very anxious, uptight parent, or the opposite. Usually the dads are like just very chill. They're sitting in the session. They don't always.
They're usually quiet. Yeah.
Quiet at the end, like, how much do I owe you? That's what they just. You know, they think the wife's just being crazy, but the moms know. The moms, because they do bedtime. They take them to school in the morning, and the moms could see that, you know, this kid is quiet. He's shy. You know, that's another anxiety. Social anxiety is a big issue.
I had social anxiety.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
He protected me my whole childhood.
Yeah.
As I grew out of my shell, it took me time to reach. Today I don't care. Like
Yeah, you talk to anyone. Yeah.
But when I was growing up, he knows.
Yeah.
I had
No, he can't. Because I tried to do a video with him the other day, and it was uncomfortable for him, and he was very uncomfortable.
So I wasn't in my zone.
And I said to him, I said, you're not in your zone, so you're very uncomfortable now.
But social anxiety is a big one.
Big one. I myself didn't even realize till later in life that I do have social anxiety.
He suffered
also.
from it tremendously.
Yeah.
One second, how do you?
Yeah.
What does a child or a person have to do? A parent to teach a child
Yeah.
how to overcome that?
So the main approach, the main treatment that I was, you know, trained in, and which really works, and it, you know, it also breaks this like kind of, you know, stigma that therapy is getting now, that we're too soft, we're too coddling of kids. I do try to push kids past their comfort zone. You want to expand their comfort zone. And the analogy I use is like a physical therapist, right? So I like to be active. I play a lot of sports, and I've tight hamstrings, right? So I can't stretch myself. When I try and do my own stretches, I don't push myself. I don't get as far as I need to go. One time I had a physical therapist come and stretch me. Dude, that guy was just like, I felt my legs like I never felt them before. Right? You're in pain, but he's like, I'm loosening you. Right? I'm not gonna pull your muscle. I know what I'm doing. Right? So when I work with kids, I want them to get out of their comfort zone. I don't. You know, first we talk about it. I give them coping skills. I understand the issue, and I teach them what's going on inside of them. And then we do like these behavioral experiments where I say, I want you to go to the restaurant and order. Kids don't order. They don't talk to the waiter.
Right.
Their parents do it for them. I tell the parents, you got to make them do stuff. They got to talk. They got to talk to the barber. They got to talk to the secretary at the school. Like, you got to make them talk to strangers so they could learn that it's not so bad.
But how do you know? Okay, I'm pushing the end, right?
Yeah,
that's
that's
the $1 million question.
Yeah, that's
right.
right.
Overpush
How do you-
When to
because
push. Yeah.
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
I'm going through it every single day, right? I'm with my kids.
Yeah.
Am I being too,
Too soft, too.
or am I being too tough? And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, you know, I'm not like, okay, we got to go play sports, but I don't want to play sports. But you know, I don't want you being on your PlayStation
Right.
all day, right?
Right,
So
right.
then, if I'm forcing him to play sports, is he gonna hate it?
Yeah.
And just give me that hour.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, yeah, but if he's in front of that TV all day, his brain's gonna fry.
I
So
know.
how do we know the difference?
That's the hardest question. That's the number one question I get. And I give talks. I give like the lectures to parents, and I tell them you have to be tough. You have to push your kids. You know, it's right hand, left hand. The Gemara says, right? You draw them in with the right, push them with the left. That, you know, a balance of love, tough love, like a coach. You know, you want to get your best, get the best out of them. So the parents, they take it too far. So they go home and they tell their kids, I just went to the speech by the doctor. That's it. No more Mr. Nice Guy. I'm waking you up for school every day on time. And, you know, so they take it too far. So consent is a big thing, right, in the world today and in therapy, right? I want buy-in from the kid. I always ask them, what's in it for you? Why are you here? You know, why are your parents bringing you here? Who am I? Like, do you know what this is and why we're doing this? I want to make sure they're in on it, because I say it's your life. This is all for you. We're all here just for you. So do you want this? I want to make sure they want it.
Because if not, then you're wasting your
It's
time.
waste time.
Basically.
It's not going to work.
That's a big.
Yeah,
Big
talking to me for 45 minutes once a week, it's not going to do anything. I tell the parents, like, they have to want, and I'll ask them, how would your life be better if you weren't afraid of talking to people, talking to girls, playing. People have in sports, there's now performance anxiety.
Oh, for sure.
Being in
My
front of
son
a
has that.
crowd, and a lot of kids. Dude, I go to those basketball leagues, I get so much. When I go to football or whatever, I know half the kids playing. They're all, you know, I have former clients, current clients. They all have so much pressure. They hate when their parents are watching. Don't cheer for me. Don't clap. I don't like it.
They're bad from their parents.
I mean, I'm teaching my son now how to lose.
Yeah.
You're going to learn how even if you're down by 20, you're gonna give 100%. You're not sore losing today.
When
I'm
they
like,
miss a
oh, we're
shot,
down by 1.
you
It's
know,
game over.
when they
Yeah.
miss a shot and they start looking around, see if everybody's looking at them. Like I always say, like who cares?
Yeah, well, they get embarrassed. They have a lot of pressure.
Yeah. I'm the same way. Listen, I'm the same way. If I underperform, I get embarrassed of my.
Yeah.
I have that thing also. I'm not gonna hide it.
Yeah.
Most people have it.
Yeah, right. You're being evaluated. Everyone's judging. Everyone's watching you. You know, I'm afraid of it and I love it. Like when I give a speech or whatever, I like being. It's like a roller coaster. I like the rush. I still get anxious every single time I get up. No matter if I've given that talk 100 times before, or I know the people. I feel the butterflies in my stomach.
Stage fright, also, right?
Yeah, right. You know, it's the number one fear. Jerry Seinfeld says,
Right.
you know, more than death. You know,
Stage fright.
Stage fright. He said, you know that joke. He said most people would rather be in the casket than giving the eulogy. You know,
I mean, eulogy's not that hard. Everybody's fucked. Everybody's crying anyway.
Yeah.
You just say whatever the hell you want. You
yeah.
know?
So those are the anxieties. We have performance anxiety, social anxiety, separation anxiety.
Right.
You know, they all overlap, and if you have one, you might have the other one too. But I try to really define what it. You know, I ask specific questions. Where is it? Does it happen in school? Does it happen on play dates? Does it happen in camp? Does it happen at home? You know, if you're with your cousins, I try to get a sense of how bad it is and you know what situations.
That's so okay, great. So now how do we deal? What can we do as parents to give our kids Kalim or whatever you want to call it?
Yeah.
How to deal with it? Because us as parents ourselves, we're dealing with our own anxiety. You know how it is, especially in our neighborhood. Everybody's trying to live for the Joneses. This guy has this. I gotta have this. You know, especially in the schools our kids are in.
Yeah,
It's
there's a lot
brutal.
of look. The world's it's a hard place to navigate, and the best thing that we have as adults is that we've been through it. We have life experience, and I tell parents we're just here to guide, to teach, to educate. They have to make their own choices. We can't control them forever because parents want to keep our kids safe, so we want to protect them, and we want to, we want to bail them out whenever they're in trouble. You know, you're talking about teens. A lot of teens, especially this time of year, there's a lot of parties, end of the year parties, senior graduation, even proms are actually a big thing in the modern Orthodox schools. And they're going to be drinking. That's what they're going to do. And I tell parents, teach your son or daughter how to get out of a tough situation. You're at a party and you're not having a good time, or you're tired, you want to go home, and your ride is a little drunk, right? So teach them how to call an Uber. Don't run there and pick them up or tell them, don't drink and drive. That's not helpful.
That's smart.
Give them a strategy. Say, this is what I would do in this situation, right? Help them get through, the challenges in life by teaching them what you learned the hard way. That's really the best thing you can
Without
do.
having to rely on dad all the time.
Yeah, don't bail them out. That's the thing. Parents are running to go save their kids all the time because we don't want them to feel any pain or any discomfort.
The same thing in sports. You see how
Very true.
dude, you see me on the flag football field on Friday. Who cares? Second graders playing never good. And there's some parents. I'm like, dude,
Parents
kids
are
in second
crazy.
grade, man, relax.
It's like the Super Bowl.
They're going crazy. Like, guys, go! I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. And the kids pick up on it.
It puts a lot of pressure on the kids.
Yeah.
And I tell my son every single week when we walk, I'm like, my friend, you're here to have a good time. You catch the ball. I said NFL players catching wide open catches, my friend. I'm sorry, dropping wide open catches. Chill.
Yeah.
Your second grade friends are not going to be when a second grader drops a pass.
Yeah.
Chill.
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about, the performance anxiety.
Right,
That means
but-
that these kids are severely under pressure to make every single play.
But it comes from
Yeah.
us, he's saying.
Yeah, parents put the pressure, and from sports is a big thing in the Jewish world in the yeshiva. Like being good at sports is like your ticket to being popular. Like the best basketball player, he's gonna be the most popular guy in a co-ed school or even in an all-boys school. And kids who are not good at sports, if they're a little nebby or they're a little bit nerdy, they're like Legos or other things.
Those kids are the billionaires when they grow up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Exactly.
The popular
That's
kid
true.
with sports is the poor broke guy working as
He's still partying
working
as
as
35 years old.
I tell them, floor hockey, the yeshiva
Yeah.
hockey league, like, nobody plays that. That's not you could be the captain of your hockey
No one
team.
gives a
That's
damn, right.
that's
Nobody
not
even cares.
That's not gonna matter when you graduate high school.
Right, but I'm just saying is that usually the geek that everybody makes fun of in school is the one that's the most successful guy in the class.
Another idea I like to share with my clients is, especially kids, is that in every stage in life we have there's a currency. Like there's a type of value of who's the most popular. So for kids it could be how good you are at sports, and as you get older in high school it could be how smart you are or how popular you are. When I was in graduate school, the currency was, for the professors in the academic world, is publishing. How many articles you publish. That's what, whoever's like the top guy is like dozens of articles. In every stage of life, it changes of what is the thing that we value most. So I tell these kids, middle school kids who are smart, who are good at technology, I said, it's like you have like $1 million in a country that doesn't exist yet. It's like Bitcoin. Like one day,
Right.
you're gonna be the richest man. I don't mean just literally that you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be such a good adult. But right now you're in another country where that currency is worthless, so you feel like you're poor.
Well, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's giving him hope.
So
and,
it's one thing that I tell my son all the time, that I was watching a reel of Kobe, who was saying when he was in summer basketball league at 12 years old, he didn't score a point.
Wow.
Not 1 point. And he was really upset at himself, was crying, and his father's like, hey man, no matter what, I still love you, I'm your father, you know what I mean? And Kobe said, that's when I said, you know what? It's not about the short game, it's about the long game. In 2 years, I'm going to come back when I'm 14, I'm going to kick every single person's here. And that's what he's like. I came back the next year, I scored 3 points. The second year I came back, he goes, I put in my work every single day. He goes, the problem is that we as human beings, we want success now.
Yeah, the microwave, you're right,
So
immediate.
when I tell my son, I say, hey man, you see that kid? You think he's better? No problem.
Yeah.
Let's talk again in 2 years.
Play the long game.
Play the long game.
a
Just
long
invest in
journey.
a long game. Don't it's not a sprint, man. It's a marathon.
That's
we're
another thing
running.
I tell parents of teenagers or young adults. If I'm working with a frum family and their kid, all kids, rebel or go off the derech, whatever you want to call it, and the parents are devastated. And I always say, just keep the relationship. Don't cut them out. Do not do that. Invite them. Be involved in their life. People change. They evolve. They come back around. 10 years, 20 years. You want to be there when they're ready to come back.
Right.
So just bite your tongue. Don't
I think the parents get more pressure. I don't think they're devastated for themselves. I think they're devastated for the people around them.
Oh, yeah.
What's the neighbor gonna say? My son looks like this. Oh, my son. I'm saying we gotta stop living.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
the
it's
other
a
people,
social
right?
embarrassment. Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta stop living for people. We gotta stop impressing others. We gotta be happy with. I think when you want to impress others, you're not happy with yourself.
Do you call out parents?
I did listen. People are defensive, and also like I want them to. I don't want to feel attacked.
Probably just politically calls them out.
Yeah, they play correct. I'll
do it like.
Yeah, I do it in a nice, gentle way. I don't say, listen, you got. Some of my colleagues are good. They're much tougher. I find that when people are coming to therapy, they're already a little bit on guard. They think that the therapist is going to tell them they're doing everything wrong and stuff like that. So I try to. I always come from a positive approach. I always say, I get why you're doing this. I understand you, and it makes sense, but it's not working, right? You've tried it for this many years so far.
It's not working.
Yeah, let's try something else. That's my way of getting the parents on board.
Do parents get on board?
Yeah, they do.
They have no
do.
choice. Why are they there?
No, because some parents believe that their kids don't do no wrong.
Then they wouldn't bring them to therapy.
No, sometimes they come.
Sometimes they do because their school's like either your kid's going to therapy or he's out of here.
Yeah, a lot of schools. Yeah,
They
a lot of
make
schools
you
do
go
that,
to
yeah.
therapy. There's a lot of entitled people in our community that think
Yeah.
like, hey man, my shit don't stink.
Yeah.
We can do whatever we want. We're big donors. And the school's like, okay, if you're not going to go to therapy, your kid's out. And then they go pull up at his office like, well, we have to be here.
Yeah, that happens a lot. And I don't want to call it. They're good. They're good referral systems for me. I treat a lot of kids from the schools, and a lot of times you have the board members or whatever. Their kids think they're hot stuff and they can do whatever they want. And these kids are like jerks. Some of these bullying stories.
But I blame them on the parents though.
Kids are so mean. Yeah,
It's not the kid, it's what the parents see. Because if I get a phone call from a school saying my kid bullied somebody, I tell my kid, your teeth are going to be on the floor.
Yeah.
I'm never going to hit my son, but he's going to live in the fear that, hey man, my dad can lose his shit one day. That's the thing with Saba.
Yeah, I know.
Dude, the Saba Binyamin, he never ever touched us, but if he got upset, our balls were shaking.
Yeah.
I think the schools did a better system with the bullying now. It's much less than we were growing up. And
yeah, it's different. It's more cyberbullying now. It's on
WhatsApp, dude. The
chats.
WhatsApp chats. They're throwing kids off WhatsApp chats.
God forbid you do one embarrassing thing, like forget it. Everyone's videoing everything. It gets shared around, all the chats. People think it's
my daughter's 10 and a half.
Yeah.
Nothing yet. Thank God, no cell phone.
I
don't want a part of that. I don't want a part of it. Yeah, it's big.
The comments,
WhatsApp bullying.
Yeah.
Throw you off chat.
Kids, in terms of social anxiety, kids are so afraid to talk on these chats, on these group chats. When kids are struggling socially, they don't have enough friends, they're not invited to the things, I'll coach them to be a little bit more proactive. No one's thinking of you. You got to put yourself out there. You got to, you got to host something. You got to, you got to participate. And I'll say, put something on the chat. I play in the soccer league. All Israeli guys in the 5 towns. I call it the UN on crack. It's got Brazilian guys, Russian guys. Everyone will come to play soccer. And this is one guy. He might be listening now, whatever. But he used to run it. And I just didn't like the way he was doing it. I just didn't like the teams or whatever. And I was complaining to my wife, and she's like, so just make your own chat. You know, he doesn't own the field. You know, I was like, oh, that's such a good idea. I'll just make my own game. So I tell kids, you know, if you can't join them, beat them. Right? If they're not inviting you to the party, they're the cool kids who are leaving you out. Make your own party. You know, let's make it fun. I'll make flyers with them. I'll host a Super Bowl party. They're like, I'm too embarrassed. I can't do that. I can't post anything. It's going to be, what if no one responds? It's going to be social suicide. It's going to be so awkward. Yeah. So they won't do it. You know, and they feel so afraid to get social.
What do you respond about rejection? Like the social rejection. Let's say nobody responds. What do you tell the kid?
It's hard. It's real. You know, I validate that. I felt that way before. You post something on social media, you don't get enough likes or whatever. Like, kids probably they delete it right away. They don't get enough likes right away. They just delete it. They don't.
That's what I do.
Yeah, right. That's what we do.
I don't give a shit. You know why? Because I know you saw it.
Yeah,
you're not gonna like it, but I know you saw it.
Right.
I know you saw it.
Right, you got the views.
Oh yeah. You know why? Because when I come up, I was like, because everybody has to throw the smart comment to you. I'm like, oh, so you saw it.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Right.
But it's a big problem.
They don't even
today.
want to like it. Kids don't even want to like their comment. They don't want other people to know that they watched it. Right. You know, everyone's so afraid of getting called out socially that they'll
I
be.
didn't think of that. Well,
They'll be machmir, right? They'll be. If I'm not sure, I'm not writing. I'm not commenting. I hear with adults, even my wife, in all the chats. There's always drama. You know, the class chats. You're like, I'm not going to be the one to, you know.
Oh yeah.
to post. You know.
Ooh.
You know.
I don't remember our parents being so involved in our class placements and stuff like that.
Dude, we were so involved.
But your dad was never your dad.
Oh, I didn't know what school I went to.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he paid a tuition bill.
I'm not involved at all.
No,
Yeah.
but you weren't. I mean, we were in yeshiva, which is different. We had one grade, you know, one class for everything. But you were in half to half. It was the same way like 20 years ago, also, right? You guys had like three classes for one grade and stuff like that. Your dad wasn't involved.
Yeah.
Okay, put Saul in this with this
No,
boy.
he went once or twice a year for parent-teacher conferences.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Today.
No, we have too much information. That's the thing. Also, my son just went on a 3-day trip to Washington D.C. He's in 8th grade and half there, and you know they're coming back last night. They're stuck in traffic, and so first the school sent an email like, okay, the bus is scheduled to arrive at this time, but all the parents have their kids' locations and they're tracking them in real time. My son's texting me. He's sending pictures of every building along the way. This is where we are, and the school never bothered to email us that they were stuck in traffic because they're like, all the parents know. You know?
Oh, true.
Right? Why should everybody? They know exactly where they are right
But
now.
back to the cyberbullying, it's a big problem.
Yeah.
Halb just put out a whole thing about taking away cell phones, something like that, or not having internet, especially for 4th, 5th graders, because in the 4th grade they were having, there was a big problem with cyberbullying.
Yeah, it's a huge problem. Usually Hafter's doing it too. I think cell phones, smartphones, and social media is going to be our generation's cigarettes. You know, we're going to look back, and
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, and we're like, you gave a 4-year-old a phone? Are you crazy? That's what we're going to look at it.
So what's the right age to give the phone?
Well, I shut off the live.
Yeah. It's a.
Because I asked her to. What do you think?
It's a big debate. It's hard to know. We definitely know that that kids are exposed to things way too early. With girls for sure, with body image stuff on Instagram.
Right.
I heard a story in the Frum Yeshiva Shul. I heard a story of another rabbi. I'm not going to say his name. He said his daughter, his very adult daughter, goes to a very Beis Yaakov school. She's watching makeup tutorials about how to have clear skin.
And
the girls really have it bad. The teen girls.
Yeah,
so what's the right age to?
Social media in general is pretty bad. Like even for adults, all the adults I talk to say that they're addicted to their phones and they're on. These influencers. Look, and I'm in awe of you guys of the the empire you guys built. But it must be exhausting to constantly feel the pressure to have to post and and get followers and
it's very. You always have to create stuff.
Right. Create.
People, I like your video. It's so creative. I'm like, yeah, dude. All day I'm busy thinking about what am I going to do next.
I just want to live my life.
Agreed.
So everything has to be on social media when kids are out. But I see these girls when I'm walking in the street. I laugh. They're just stopping and taking pictures of themselves all day long. They're just walking and taking selfies all day long.
Because you want, how am I going to say it? You want, what was it? Like acceptance from others?
Yeah, the external recognition.
Recognition, that's the word, recognition.
Yeah. Dude, I took.
You're not getting enough at home.
Yeah, I shouldn't say this, but I'm comfortable with who I am. I took my son to a Drake concert also a while back, and there's like these teen girls behind us. They spent the whole concert
on their phones,
looking at the phone like this. They're going like this, and they're singing the Drake music, but that was just the background. You know,
Right.
that
Just happened to be
that
there.
was a soundtrack for their videos. The whole show, just like this, looking at themselves in their phone and posting it because it looks cool. And I'm just like, yo, watch the show, watch the concert. It's live. It's right here. You know.
Put on one post and for
Yeah, why?
recognition.
Whatever.
That's it.
Exactly. Take
Yeah.
oneself in front, whatever, as a stage, and yeah. So that's really toxic. You know.
So there's no real age to give a kid a phone then.
I know, but they're still doing studies. We're not sure. It's all now starting to come out where we're realizing, you know, they're making these toy companies are making teddy bears with little iPads in their stomach. You
Right,
know,
right. I saw
I
that.
didn't see that.
Yeah,
I saw that,
little
I
kids,
saw
little
that.
babies. You know, my kids when they're not even 1 year old, they know how to unlock a phone and swipe and do all these things. So we're just now starting to pull back and realize that maybe we're overdoing
So
it.
as modern, like my kids, my 10-year-old has no phone, no iPad. Also my 8-year-old, thank God.
Yeah.
You know, and I try to explain to him. I say, listen, the school's down the block. If I need you, I'm going to call the
Yeah.
school. And if you want to get good grades that you're getting right now, the phone's not going to help you get good grades. It's going to take away your grades.
Yeah.
So I try to keep them motivated of, getting good grades and being good in school. And then one day, they're going to get their phone when I don't know as a parent when they're ready
Yeah.
for it.
Listen, power to you. A lot of parents don't want to give their kids phones. The big issue is the social pressure. They don't want their kids to be the only ones without a phone, the
Well-
only ones not on the chats and stuff like that. So they do it just because everyone else
So I
has
tell
it.
my kid how many lions are in the jungle. 1. How many sheep? That's the way I changed their mindsets. How many sheep walk around the jungle? And what happens to sheep? I told them they get slaughtered. There's 1 lion, right? Told them there's 1. There's 1 king of the jungle. So if you want to be like everybody else, I'll give you the phone. You can go be a sheep. So they walk around, like, oh, I'm more special
Yeah.
because I don't have one.
Yeah, but when you give them the phone, then they become a sheep.
No, but then I tell them there's this age that you're gonna need it.
Yeah.
There's an age that a lion turns from a cub lion to a lion. He becomes the king of the jungle.
Yeah, I tell my
Because
kids,
there's no other way to not live with the Joneses.
I tell them we're more strict in our house than the other families about certain things. My 6th grader's the only kid in his whole grade and half that doesn't have a smartphone.
Good.
And power to him. He doesn't really complain or ask for it. And we banned Fortnite. Fortnite was never
100%.
allowed.
I agreed with that.
That thing
I agree with that.
It's digital heroin.
It's
right?
violence.
Yeah,
It drives the
yeah.
kids crazy.
Yeah.
I let my kids only play sport games or like Minecraft.
Yeah.
My kids like to play Minecraft. Nothing else. No online.
Yeah.
Online gaming.
Yeah.
You're not going online.
Yeah,
My
it's-
kids ain't going online.
Yeah,
No way.
it's so terrible. So, but they don't complain so much anymore. They get it, but it's hard for them socially when all the kids are talking about this stuff and they're not included in the conversation. So, they have to have good self-esteem. You're raising your kids right, I think, of teaching them. You don't always have to be a follower. You don't have to do everything just because everyone else is doing it.
My daughter, I want to go to YTT camp. Oh, okay, it's $10,000. I'm not paying for it.
Yeah.
Well, my friends are going, great. You wanted to go to
Yeah.
half. I don't want to send you there.
Yeah.
I can't live to there.
Yeah.
We can't.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong to
Yeah.
tell the child, hey, there's going to be people that are better than
Yeah.
you in the world, richer than you, prettier than you, and more successful
Yeah.
than you. Believe in yourself, and just that's it.
Get used to it now.
Yeah, get used to it from now. At age of 15,
Yeah.
wake up.
My 5-year-old daughter wanted a Stanley Cup. This stupid
Yeah.
thing, the Stanley Cup. I said, no, she's telling me every girl in her class has a Stanley
Okay.
Cup. And I just think I have to deal with it already. She's 5. So it has to be the community, the parents. I honestly think that as much as we make fun of the Shivish world, the Haredi world, they're so sheltered, they're so.
No, they're doing
whatever.
some things right.
They kind of, when it comes to college and now and technology, they're actually ahead of the curve. They saw these dangers early on, and now we're all kind of coming back to them and saying, what flip phone should I buy for
Right.
my kids?
Because at the end of the day, the phone is for what? Hey, I want to see where my child is holding, right?
Yeah,
So let me
yeah.
just pick it up.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we're like, oh, we can trust my child. No, you can't. The internet is the scariest place on this planet. Even online gaming, they're
Yeah.
predating on
Yeah,
little kids.
Yeah. No, it's like giving a kid a car before they have a license or a gun or any other dangerous thing that's like a tool that they don't know how to handle. Like when you give a kid a smartphone with all these apps and they don't have the brain that's developed enough to be able to know these apps and these games are designed. They have a team of psychologists. If I want to make money, I go work for a social media company. They ask psychologists, how do we make our app more addictive? How do we make sure that people always want to open our app and don't put it down?
Wow.
They ask psychologists, and they use all these tricks. They use a lot of brain tricks. They give you these pop-ups, these daily challenges. My son on Moshe Shabbos, he says, I want to turn on the iPad, for Madden. I said, you can't play now we have a rule: you can't no screens mostly showers. We don't want them to look forward to showers being over. So he's
Very smart.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because always they sit by the clock like I did as a kid, waiting.
Yeah, when's it over? When's it?
Right? 9:09, 9:09, it's 9:09. Let's go.
Why are you taking so long?
Literally, like the last 15 seconds, you're counting down. Right?
Like the fast day, right?
So
Yeah.
wait, hold on. That's very, very interesting. So what do they do Saturday night then?
We do things. We go out for pizza. They play in a basketball
if
league.
the Knicks are on, you won't let
Yeah,
them
we'll
on.
learn. We watch. Knicks, they know.
No, he
The-
if I hear Knicks, Jets, sports is like
yeah, for sports is special.
You know what I told my son when he was started looking for? I said, "Listen, I'm a Knicks fan. I don't advise you to be a Knicks fan. You're gonna get butthurt your whole
Yeah,
life."
yeah.
He calls me the other day like, "Yo, these Knicks suck. They blew the game 7. I'm becoming a Timberwolves fan." I said, "Johnny, how about this? Welcome to our life of 25 years
Timberwolves, yeah.
where we're suffering Knicks fans
You tell
forever."
this is the best Knicks I've looked in 25 years. Like,
Then we have the Jets.
feel
I mean,
lucky.
since we're your kids' age, since our bar mitzvah, that's the best the Knicks have looked.
Yeah.
Think about it. That's when the Knicks were playing the Heat when we were in our bar mitzvah.
No, I purposely raised my kids to be into sports. First of
Yeah,
all,
Yeah, it's very
you know,
important.
It's bonding with
yeah,
them.
you get bonus points as a dad. The life hack for being a dad is you do something fun for yourself and you're taking care of your kids at the same time, right?
Right.
I take my kids to a game. We went to the Jets game last year.
Right.
It's like a 9-hour, 10-hour trip. I come home. I'm like a boss. I just took
And
it.
you're the cool dad
I'm
because
the
you
cool
took them on
dad,
the field.
and I had a great time.
And
Yeah.
he takes you to the Jet game.
Yeah.
You're going on the field, you're touching the
Yeah,
flag,
we're holding
you
the
see
flag.
the players like literally
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, we do fun things.
So I'm with my son and me and my son are like this
I want to take
together.
my son to that one. Too.
Yeah, come
Yeah,
next year.
so he does a
I'm ordering
group thing. He does a group thing. They go tailgating. It's a lot of fun. I went with him.
Yeah.
I cheaped out on my dude. I'm hitching a ride with you.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
We're gonna
man.
go. I just got the group rate. They just emailed me from the Jets. So we're gonna go to a game September 29th against the Broncos, week 4. It's always for my son's birthday. The son without a cell phone. That's his birthday present. We gets to hold the American flag for the national anthem.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, you're
Yeah.
on the 50-yard line, and they're right there.
Yeah,
It's a really great experience. So he double whammies it.
Yeah.
He's a hero as a dad, and he got to spend time with
Yeah.
his kid.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's sick. That's
yeah,
sick.
it's sick.
yeah.
And sports is a great outlet. Kids need something to be into. Like they're not gonna, Rebbe cards. What are they gonna?
Those days are over.
no,
my friend.
one's collecting Rebbe cards. They need something. So they need sports. Out of all the things, the most kosher thing. It's good values. They learn about competition, teamwork, sportsmanship.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, exactly. For the team, dedication. My son played on the basketball team this year. He learned how to commit. He was up Sunday morning, went to practice.
Right.
He was into it. So I love sports. Some people they knock sports like it's too much. I think, look, it's better that than anything
Right, exactly.
else.
Then he got that $300 pair of shoes. I got to
Yeah,
get it.
exactly.
No, also for kids, better than Fortnite.
No, much better than Fortnite.
But that's why you think I'm a crazy guy with all my collection because that's what because my son is him. So someone has to excite them all the time.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh my god, I have cool collections. That's why I take him to the shows. And hang up all those jerseys to make his life around instead of like you say sports.
Yeah, kids will
Get it?
like what we like. They'll
Right.
copy us. So the things that we're into, they're into, and we have to model also healthy attitudes towards towards our phones and towards other things like that. When I tell parents if they want their kids to be on their phones, let's make it a family thing, a family challenge from 6 to 7 p.m. Buy one of these boxes on Amazon, whatever. Everyone puts their phone away, even the moms, even the dads. We're all going to do it together as a family.
Wow.
That's the best.
Very,
That's
very
the
smart,
problem.
man. Very, very, very smart. I heard someone once say that when you're successful as a man is that when your kids are teenagers and they still want to hang out with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the only way they do that is if you build it. There's a lot of ways, but I figured that I love sports. I love it.
Yeah.
I got my son into it. He likes football, basketball, the two best sports to go around to. Baseball is
baseball's
really boring.
So slow.
Hockey's sick.
Hockey,
Hockey
playoff
fun.
hockey.
Yeah.
Playoff hockey. And people are like, you crazy spending so much money? Yeah, because that was my logic behind it. Why did I spend so much money to go to Game 7? Not because I'm trying to front. I sat in section 225, but I did row one so you can see. But why did I spend that money? Because I said, what am I working for? For memories to build relationship with my kids. So my kids remember, hey, man, I went to Game 7 in MSG with my dad when I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
understand? That's worth for me 25 or $3 grand.
Yeah. And you're teaching him that if you work hard, you could enjoy
Yeah.
things in life also.
And guess what? I told them the Knicks lost. Yeah, it sucks, but guess what? They put their heart and effort all out there.
Yeah.
And we're raising men.
Yeah.
They have to learn how to fail too.
Yeah.
You can't always win. We're raising men.
Yeah.
A man has to know how to deal with failures.
Failure is so important.
Well, you didn't fail going through your medical school?
Yeah, we all went through hard stuff. You know, you have to face adversity. You have to fail. You have to fall down. You know.
Right. But it's going back to our first point that us as parents fail because we want to take care of all our children's problems. Oh my God, you know.
What's the biggest issue you see with kids these days?
You know, it really is the independence. You know, kids don't know how to do anything for themselves. You know,
it's so true.
When they're off and they have free time, I'm treating a few seniors now, and they have less school. They took their tests, and they've
Seniors in high school.
Seniors in high school, yeah.
Wow.
You know, and you know, when I was a kid, when we were in high school, we just all we went out, we went to the beach, we went to the mall, went to someone's house, and like we just made it happen. We knew how to take care of ourselves. I have kids that don't know how to take a subway. They don't know how to figure out how to get around New York City.
No way.
Yeah. Most
seniors?
Kids, yeah.
No
high school.
way.
And because a lot of moms I talk to say they won't let their kids on. It's like, oh, I see the New York Post. There's crazy people. There's bombs.
No.
Yeah, there's stuff. Whatever. Yeah, I
It
know.
happens. What do you mean?
Yeah,
You can't stop living.
Well, with the millions of people who work in New York City every day who take the subway, you know, it's like it's fine. It's nothing. They have to learn how to.
And what about
Well,
Ubers?
If some parents won't let their kids go on Uber, I tell them, what are they going to go on a
What age
date?
is the proper age for Uber?
They're going to go on a date with a girl, and they're like, oh, I don't know how to.
Yeah.
I don't know how to take the train. I don't know how to take the subway, whatever.
The parents buy
What
them
age is the
fancy
proper age
cars.
for Uber?
You know, I'm ready to put my 13-year-old
So
in Uber.
I want to put my 15-year-old girl in Uber. And I was like, no, you can't do it.
Yeah.
But she's going with friends. No,
Yeah.
I'm like, I think you're overreacting.
I put my son in Uber.
Yeah, I mean, it's so convenient. Look, you think every Uber driver?
No, Uber driver I know.
Yeah,
No, I
it's-
have an Uber driver I know.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay.
I
think-
Yeah, but hold on. You put your kid on a bus, you know the bus driver, you're not going to put in an Uber that you can
Exactly,
track
yeah,
everywhere.
exactly, right,
Bus driver
right.
can lock the door and take the kids to wherever you want.
The bus is the craziest thing in the world. Like, we just
You
send
don't
our
even
kids
know
on
the
straight-
guy, throw him on the bus.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, people are scared of Ubers, but you take an Uber. You know, we take Ubers, and we're like, Ubers are just. You have to look at the statistics. One of the things about anxiety is that we overestimate the likelihood of our worst fear coming true. Right? Really.
That's
you know,
mine is
Yeah.
dying on a plane.
You know how safe flying on a plane is? They just came out with a study.
I just saw the Singapore Airlines. That what happened? You saw that?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that happens once in 85,000.
Yeah.
But who knows
I
what?
always tell myself, it's my turn now. Like it's gonna happen.
right. You think you're going to be the
You're
unlucky
saying
one.
car accidents, there's cars
I
flipping
agree with
over,
that. Yeah.
dude, flying on the Belt
You know
Parkway
how big
daily.
anxiety-
Cars like 20 or 30
You know
times
how
more
the
dangerous.
anxiety I have every time I fly. I start sweating, and I fly every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I do 17-hour flight.
Yeah.
I can't sleep.
That's wow.
I
That's
literally
wild.
can't sleep. Like I can't sleep on the plane. I get anxiety, and even if I try to fall asleep and the plane just starts shaking, I get up like
So he
this.
said, Rabbi Soloveitchik said, if you have real emunah in Hashem,
Yeah.
you have real fear of God.
Once
you
you're
have
in
no
that
other
anxiety
fear.
phase,
That's
you don't.
one thing-
Once you're in
that's
the
one-
anxiety phase, all you want to do is get over
It's
it. You don't
emotional.
think about God.
Right,
It's
of
your
course.
body. It's not. It's not even coming from your brain. You know, it's just it's just an instinctual reaction that you can't really control. Like, your brain can tell yourself it's safe. I know, Moshe. You know, talking to yourself. It's not going to.
It doesn't help. Though. I watch YouTubes. I talk to
Yeah.
pilots. I
Yeah.
have people I talk to.
Yeah. But the bottom line is you do it. See, the thing is,
I have to do it.
You live through it, right? You live.
I live through the fear
Yeah.
because I can't stop.
You don't let it control you. People have anxiety. You could be anxious. You could have all these different feelings, but there's something called high functioning anxiety or high functioning depression, where someone has, you know, stress, but they don't let the stress control their life. Right? They get up, they go to work, they do the things they need to do. You know, as a kid, they still show up and do the things, and you're living with the feelings. That's the healthiest thing. You know.
How do you realize if a kid is falling into depression or not falling? Like,
Oh, that's a good question.
you know, as
Yeah.
parents, you don't really know.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, kids starting 10, you know, like they start realizing bad, good, you know, start getting what feelings are, crying from movies, you know, stuff like that, right? You'll see with the girls. I mean, your girls,
Yeah.
you'll see as they get older, also like, whoa.
Yeah.
You don't cry in sad movies, bro?
Who?
I cry all the time.
No, yeah, but I'm saying girls,
Make-A-Wish
girls, girls are a lot moodier
Yeah, girls are
from
more
the
about
age of 8 to
issues.
10, 10 to 12, 12 to 15.
Honestly,
It's
that's
a
a good
lot.
question. When do you see a kid who you think he's falling into a depression, or when he's how do you?
So yeah, so listen, it's hard to know. It's a change. We talked about you know, schools and teachers. I tell my wife when we go to parent teachers, I said, you know, listen to the teachers. Don't argue back. They see our kids every day for hours for the whole year
Right.
with other kids. So you could see, you know, he's sitting by himself during lunch. It's subtle things. A change, you know, a sudden change in behavior. Even physical things. You know, sleep, appetite are warning signs. And being withdrawn, you know, socially isolated. You know, COVID really messed everyone up.
Right.
That whole group of kids who, you know, in their important years of their life were told to.
I think the ninth graders in 2020 got really sick.
Yeah.
9, 10, like that whole senior.
They're the COVID generation. So
Yeah.
there's that. You know, not having motivation, not not caring. It's interesting. The worst part, the biggest curse of depression is not sadness. We think that when you're depressed, you're sad. It's actually not. When you're depressed, you're numb. You feel nothing.
Oh wow.
That's the biggest curse. That's the machal. That's kares, right? You're cut off. You have no emotions. You're just.
Man, this is a good point. Dumb.
Yeah. Nothing makes
You're
you
just
happy
a
anymore.
being. Paralyzed.
Yeah. You're a robot. You're a zombie. You're just a walking, living zombie. That's it.
Oh, wow.
That's the
a
saddest
good
thing in life.
People
Yeah.
think it's sadness. It's not even sadness.
Right. They wish they could be
sadness,
sad.
Yeah, it's a feeling.
Yeah,
There's no
they
feelings
watch sad
anymore.
movies. They want to make themselves sad because they want to feel something. That's how
Right,
bad
right.
it is.
But he said one
Wow.
of the most important things when you go to PTA, don't argue with the teacher.
Yeah. Listen to the teacher. They're telling you something. They're trying to tell you, I see your kid every day. You see your kid at home. I see him with other kids his age. And
When you're not looking.
yeah, and they also have the context. Like some of these teachers have been there for 15, 20 years. So they see hundreds of kids. So they know what a normal. Parents always say, "Is it normal for a kid? For the ADHD, kids are they're wild." I say, yeah, but there's 15 other boys in this class, and they're all sitting right on the
he's
carpet,
not.
and he's climbing on top of the filing cabinet like. He's a little bit more wild than the other 5-year-olds you have there. So don't tell me kids are just being kids because the teacher's trying to tell you, your son can't sit still, So you have to listen to the teachers but also not freak out. Sometimes parents call me. I tell a story all the time. It was during COVID. It was like a year or two in, and this kid, he just graduated high school and he started NYU. Parents paying, I don't even know how much it was. 60 grand, 80 grand, however much 1 year of college is. It was the biggest scam, by the way. My kids, I don't think I'm sending my kids to college. I'm not paying for what. So she calls me up. She goes, my son, my 18-year-old son, I'm so worried about him. He's in his room all day, his childhood bedroom. He doesn't leave, doesn't come out. I don't see him. And this is not normal. This is not who he is. I'm very worried about him. I said, okay, does he know you're calling me? I always ask that. Does your son know you're calling me? She goes, nah, you have to talk to him. Okay, if he's willing to come talk to me, I'll talk to him. And she said, okay, I'll talk to him. And he came in. I said, what's going on? Let's call him David, whatever. He just started NYU, and this is BS they had. They had asynchronous classes, which means it wasn't even Zoom. It wasn't even live. What these colleges did in the first few years during COVID, the teachers pre-recorded their classes, like a podcast, uploaded it to the server, and said, you have 4 months from September to December, watch 16 classes, take the test on your own, and submit the grade, and that'll be your college experience, right? So he said, that's my college. He goes, there's no campus, there's no Hillel, there's no Chabad house, there's no sports teams. I'm in college right now. That's what I'm doing. I'm in my class
In my room.
In my room.
Oh my God.
So I called him up and said he's not depressed. He might become depressed very soon if he keeps this up, but this is the world that we live in now.
Wow.
Yeah. So you have to know the context is what I'm saying. You have to know more information in order to figure out if someone is really, depressed or not. If it's a stage, if it's temporary, if it's more of a bigger issue.
Do you think the schools are doing a good job with handling the kids like ADHD, anxieties, or
They're trying. Look,
throwing them to medication right away?
I know. I get a lot of referrals from schools. I talk to all the school, guidance counselors, their whole team. I have Zooms even now, scheduled. I had to block out time. A principal of a school wants to speak to me about a certain kid. They're trying. Everyone. I do think that all schools get that mental health is very important, and they're all trying to, work with the therapists and stuff to help these kids. They know that they're going through a lot. But also, the teachers are limited what they could do. The teachers always say, "Look, I have 20 other kids in this class, and I have to get through the material." And they're not trained therapists.
And this kid's holding me back, right?
Yeah, they don't know. Look, I try and teach them to talk to them like this or say this to them, but they don't. They don't get paid enough to.
You're right. I mean, do you believe in medicating the kid right away, or first trying to talk to him and see if he or you believe in that's it, write out a prescription and
look? It depends. Yeah, it depends. I'm not against medication. A lot of
parents are against medication.
I know a lot of things. Especially
they wanted to prescribe us when we were younger.
Yeah.
And me and my brother, we were 16. We went to remember Dr. Winterbench.
Yeah, but I was taken to a shrink afterwards,
and they said that we needed to take medicine for ADHD. I don't want to take it.
Yeah. So look, I respect people's opinion. I said you don't want to put a pill inside their kid's body. It's a scary thing. I always respect that. It's not so dangerous. Parents, they Google the side effects. I read that, you're going to grow, a third eyeball.
I love to read Google when you have fever. Next thing you know, you're dying in 24 hours.
I said, it's not so scary. It's not so bad. We know these medications very well. They're very well researched, and they're very.
But then the kids become addicted to it. Basically, they can't function without that medication. So you don't see it as an issue of
So how many cups of coffee you have a day?
0.
Really? You don't drink any coffee? No caffeine?
I have an addictive personality, so I
You
try
don't
to
touch
stay
it,
away,
okay.
Stay away from
Wow.
addictive things. So no coffee, 0. I didn't drink it ever.
Right.
I went through addiction of gambling. I went to therapy
yeah,
rehab many years
okay.
ago, but I believe that if I was they wanted to put me on meds.
Yeah.
I decided not to do it. I'd rather
You try
go
other
through it
ways.
myself.
Yeah.
Maybe I do need it.
It
Maybe.
can help. I say it's always worth a shot. I say
People tell me take Xanax on the plane. I say no, I don't need it. For
It's
what?
the worst drug, they say.
I don't like Xanax.
No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not
the worst drug to
I won't.
withdraw
I would
from.
not touch Xanax
What's
at
the other
all.
thing they calm you down? Not melatonin.
Klonopin.
Volume?
Yeah, they have pain. I don't like
What are
any
those
Xanax,
called?
Xanax.
Dr. Peterson talks about it all the time.
Those
Those drugs, what's it called? Zactapens or something with the pan in the end?
Yeah,
That's the hardest drug to get off of.
SSRIs. They're no, the benzodiazepines.
Yeah, benzos.
Yeah.
But I believe in.
Wait, so look, you can't. But look, my point is, if eye doctor, I tell the parents, if the eye doctor said your
Makes
kid needs
sense.
glasses, or dentist says you need braces, we give kids all kinds of other things.
That's different though, because without braces, his teeth are messed up.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if he came to you for 2 years, you can heal him without the medicine.
Maybe.
If you're bipolar, bro, you need to take medicine.
Bipolar is different.
Bipolar needs
Talk about
medication.
anxiety.
Yeah.
Sometimes anxiety. Sometimes people who suffer from, like me. I have
Yeah.
severe anxiety of flying. I have severe anxiety of failure. I don't do marijuana because I'm going to get addicted.
Yeah.
I'd rather not do it.
Anxiety is very responsive to therapy. There's
Right.
there's no good medication for anxiety. People come to me, they're taking Xanax every day. Xanax is supposed to be a last resort, a severe panic attack, and you can't,
don't
you
even touch
can't
it.
breathe. Then maybe take a Xanax, but people should not be taking Xanax every day. Therapy really helps with anxiety, depression. ADHD is a little bit different. Sometimes their kid's life is falling apart. They're getting kicked out of schools, kicked out of camps.
Yeah.
And I tell the parents, what's worse, the side effects of taking this pill, or he's going to end up on the street, he's going to end up in jail.
Right.
So try it. You can always go off the medicine.
Can you go off?
You could go off, yeah.
But then they have these side effects. They get used to it. Sometimes they become like dull.
Yeah, ADHD meds with the stimulants, Adderall, Ritalin, it's like a cup of coffee. It's in and out. It's one day on, one day off. So you could take it one day, you don't like it, don't take it the next day, and you're fine. So I say
we need to educate the parents.
exactly. I do a lot of it.
Yeah.
The parents tell me, they say I teach them more than psychiatrists. Psychiatrists, they're just pill pushers.
Yeah, of course.
They meet you for 15 minutes, they charge you hundreds of dollars, and all my clients who take medication, they come to me with their questions. They say, you explain things better than they do, and I don't have a medical degree. I can't prescribe medication.
So you're a belief that there's kids out there that should be
Yeah, absolutely.
Medicated.
Yeah, it's worth a shot. I say if you've tried other things and they're really failing, medication could really could really change his life. He could really live to his
Does he have
potential.
to be hooked on that medicine forever? That's the question.
Even if so, first of all, no. I recommend taking breaks. So don't give it to them on the weekends. All the camp directors hate me because I tell the parents take their kids off the medication for the summer. So they go to sleepaway camp and
They become animals.
And they're like, what are you doing? Like, this kid, why is he taking
take
a
out
break?
all your shit over there.
Yeah, you can't. There's no. But we all need things, So for people who drink coffee, I know people that drink 4 or 5 cups of coffee a day, Red Bull, energy drinks,
That's not healthy too.
No, exactly. So take one pill and it helps. you
Pre-workout.
focus
People
and
go
get through the day.
pre-workout. I think they're Arnold Schwarzenegger. That shit is
Yeah,
not healthy.
yeah.
Well, those protein shakes and stuff.
They
No,
just-
projects, whatever.
And what about
Pre-workout.
Lexapro?
So the SSRIs, the antidepressant medication, are a little bit more complicated.
Lexapro is antidepressant?
Yeah. And anxiety. There's no real anti-anxiety medication.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I went to the doctor's like, I used to take Lexapro. I said, for what? Anxiety. I said, dude, I'm not walking around with this thing my whole life now
Yeah,
because if I don't have it, I do take it, take it, this, that. So I decided, I'm going to just do what I do. I'm not going to talk about it here, but
Right.
I'm just
No,
saying
there's other
and
ways.
it worked wonders for me, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
other ways. But I want to stop and think about, I'm picking your brain about Lexapro.
Yeah.
It's a lot. You're saying it's a worse drug to take than Adderall?
It's not worse. It's just it takes like 4 to 6 weeks to fully work and kick in, and that does change your brain chemistry a little bit. Like it's designed to, to give you more of those happy feelings in your brain, right? So it does change your brain a little bit, and there are more side effects. But for people who are really suffering and they can't, that I wouldn't recommend for kids as much. When kids come to me with 7, 8, 9 years old and they have anxiety, depression, I don't really touch medication for that. But an adult who can't get out of bed in the morning or they need something. We have these miracles of science that are very helpful. Millions of people take it. Why are you so resistant to something that could help you? There's a stigma about taking a medicine that we think that it's
Yeah, because listen, like
They
you
say
said,
there's a stigma
social
about
liberty.
marijuana. They're still going
yeah,
on.
right. Yeah.
But alcohol is better. Alcohol is the most
Exactly.
abusive drug.
Yeah.
It's an addiction that's
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
impossible.
You know, men in the frum community, especially the kiddish clubs and stuff,
They're
are
dead because of alcohol.
Yeah, drinking early in the morning. You know, like obsessed with it.
But pull out a joint. Oh, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa! Take that out of here!
Yeah.
You're crazy. My kids. All right, kids seeing you as a drunk
Yeah.
is not any better.
Yeah.
But again, it's stigma, and that's why I want you to come here also, and hopefully we get you more than once.
Yeah, dude, I'll come back. I love talking about this
because
stuff.
our community, especially like the Frum community and the Sephardi community, the Ashkenaz community already more or less always embrace therapy.
Yes.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
The
more.
Sephardic,
yes.
especially the Bukhari community, like,
Yeah.
dude, no.
Very old school.
Yeah.
The fathers think, what are you, a girl? You going to therapy? You're a
Yeah.
man. Control your emotions. But
And that's why
that
these men
emotion
come
builds
out.
up, builds
Yeah.
up.
But
and
But
then
that's why
they-
these Bukhari teachers come out all angry. They always want to fight. Yo, you want? I'm like, dude, relax.
Yeah,
man.
they
right.
lay it out on
Right.
their children and their spouses
Yeah.
as well, you know?
I always laugh at them. They always say, "I had all the same problems. My father hit me, and I'm fine." I'm like, thinking,
Yeah.
dude,
You're not fine.
You're not fine.
You're thinking you're fine.
You're disaster,
you
right.
thinking you're fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what you have to tell people, like, you know, you're not fine.
Yeah, you're not right, and there's you don't have to be so macho. There's nothing wrong with going to professional. You know, I say to them, you know, if you have a leak in your roof and your home is flooding, well, I'm gonna fix it myself.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Here, it's just a service. I trained. I have a degree.
You hit the roof.
Yeah, right, exactly. Ready to go up there and do it yourself.
How dare
like,
you.
know, go to a doctor. It's like if God forbid someone gets a cancer diagnosis or something like that. You find every specialist you could find. You go to Sloan
You're not going to say,
Kettering.
shh, don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
You're going to announce it. Please give me anybody know the best specialist just to
Exactly.
help.
You're posting the WhatsApps.
Yeah.
You're going to do, you know, everything to try and help you. A lot of people say that some of these things are really, it's a disease. It's a brain addiction, depression.
Yeah.
It's just a chemical imbalance.
a disease.
It's a disease. It's like something like,
Bro, I was addicted to the casino. Like,
Yeah.
I needed it to feel
Yeah.
the rush in my blood.
Didn't Sigmund Freud used to drill people that had mental illness, used to drill like a hole in the head or something back in the day?
I don't know about
What?
that. No, they do electric shock, and no, he never.
There were
did
really, I heard there was really like crazy ways of dealing with mental
Yeah.
illness back in the old
They used to
days.
like a lobotomy. They used to like take out a part of your brain or something.
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
they used to
Yeah.
like crazy
They
stuff
did
like
in
that.
Football with that guy, all these guys who
Yeah.
blew their brain, or blew their chest out
Yeah.
to see their brains after they got hit so
Right,
many times,
right,
right? Their
right.
behavior changed.
Yeah, yeah. Things affect our.
What's that thing called again?
CTE.
CTE.
Yeah. Things affect us. A lot of things affect us, and you know, it's chemical. So why have to be so embarrassed? The old school Bukharins, the Sephardim, the men. That's definitely a tougher.
No.
You know,
And sometimes a teenage kid knows what's good for him and what's not. And that's why I think as parents we should at least listen and not shut it down.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like especially I see with my 15-year-old, right? If you're gonna yell at her and fight with her, she's gonna be like, "All right, dude, I'm zoning you out. I'm out of here."
Right.
Like we're not gonna talk.
Yeah. Keep the lines of communication open.
Yeah, it's the most important thing
Yeah.
because I tell my
Did
kid
your
all the time,
parents
you
do-
want to get drunk? If you're going to
Yeah.
get drunk, you better call
Yeah,
my
yeah.
ass if your pissed drunk to pick you up.
Yeah.
All right? Don't try to hide it from me and stuff like that. I'll come pick you up.
Yeah, communication. You know, trust. I'll bring in parents to teen sessions and say, you know, we're going to talk about this together because I want them. I don't want there to be secrets. You know, that's what happens. The kids keep secrets from their parents keep secrets from their kids, and then everyone's just lying to each other. It's not how they're people. It's so dysfunctional, so toxic. Everyone's just making stuff up all the time.
So that's why in my house I make lying such a big deal. Like you want to see Abba go crazy? Just lie to me.
Yeah. Well, people are scared to tell the truth. You have to make a safe place
Right.
where, you know, a kid could tell you.
And you're not gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, right. You know, you could, you know, there's a way to handle it. I'm not saying you should ignore the problems and let them do whatever they want, but you could say, hey, you know, you're a kid, you're going through this, it's fine, it's normal, you want to experiment, you want to do these things. You know, parents ask me, is my son, he's talking to girls? Like, I hope he's talking to girls. You know, of course he should be interested in girls.
Push my son all the time,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah. You know, he should be.
Yeah, in seventh grade.
they
Bring
should-
bring somebody home.
Yeah, exactly. That's normal. So we should you know, we should be encouraging that and having open communication. You know, I'll end with this because you know, I got to run back for a session soon. But therapy is all about communication. Marriage therapy, family therapy, individual therapy, group therapy. It's all about communicating, using your words, being able to express yourself in a way that you could be heard. So we want to teach, you know, kids how to do it with their parents and parents how to do that with kids. You know, I'm the mediator. I sit there.
Right.
I say, you guys can fight. It's okay. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be the referee and help you guys get through it. But I want you to be able to talk about these things. And that's it. If you could talk about things, you could
Right, don't
you
be
could solve
embarrassed
anything.
to open up.
Yeah.
Saul, thank you for coming, Doc.
Oh, yeah, thank you
we
so much
hope
for
to-
having me.
We hope to
Thank
have you
you.
again because there's a lot more to
I'll
talk
come
about.
back. I love this. Is great.
Thank you,
Yeah,
man.
you're great.
Thank
Keep
you.
it up, guys.
Thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
tuning in.
Awesome.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.